Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of A Lap with the Lambo. Today, we'll be featuring a very special guest for RCI in general, and even just the sim community in general. It's a very big name for people that are involved in the sim community, and especially even more recently in the Assetto Corsa Competizione community. A name that everybody's going to recognize, a name that if you race in any of our RCI races, you definitely recognize as well. In fact, on the day of recording today, which is July 3rd, the man actually won one of our races today. The first race in the Friday Intercontinental GT Championship at Laguna Seca, came home with the victory. And who else would that be than anybody but Jaroslav Hanzik, also known as Jardier.
And there is... Actually, no, this is going to be the end of the race.
Oh my goodness. Well, there you have it right there. Surprisingly, the timer expires just as the leader gets to the line. Jardier is going to win the race. Killian Ryan Meenan is going to finish second, and they're going to kiss just for the fun of it.
Jardier, thank you for joining me today, sir. Fantastic win today. I'm sad that I didn't quite catch all of it, but from what I heard, it was an awesome race. Congrats, man.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me, and thank you, everybody on RCI.
Yeah, so, let's just get right to it, buddy. You won the race today. You seem to take home more and more of those as time goes on through RCI and, previously with the old community that we were all a part of. How do you do it, man? I mean, like, you just make it look effortless. Is it something that you just got good at naturally, or what do you do?
I mean, I think I could be actually, I feel like, honestly, I think I could do better if I would, actually be doing more preparation and such. But as you said, I'm having, so many races and so many stuff that, preparation is basically from race to race. And I don't know, I would say it's natural for me because honestly I'm racing almost all my life, and sim racing basically half of my life right now. So so for me the just jumping into the computer and driving around is very, very natural, as we did the Lamborghini lap a few minutes ago. It's very, very natural to me, to just jump into the car and just drive, So I think I wouldn't say it's a talent or something. I would say it's more just good experience, it just comes very easy to me,
Right.
Especially right now, when you play one game or two games, it's very, very easy to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's something else to be said. Actually, I mean, if you go look at this man's YouTube channel, he is racing every single day. Is there a day that you don't race? It seems like you're. If I tune into YouTube and I hit my subscriptions button, Jardier's live. And do you ever take a break, man?
Yeah, I do actually take breaks, but to me it's sometimes I have I don't know how to say it correctly, but sometimes I have addiction where I'm really to sim racing. I love sim racing, I love streaming and doing videos and such, and sometimes I'm in a regime or mood, where I can literally do it for 2 months, every single day, and I don't get tired. But sometimes I have a little burnout, then I'm okay, I don't want to race,
Right,
I want to take a break a little bit. So I have a little break, that I don't race that much.
Right.
But basically, because everything is happening in the world right now, we know all the situation and everything. So I'm basically I don't have anything else to do basically as well.
Other than race, right?
So, yeah, exactly. So we cannot travel anywhere, we cannot go anywhere. So,
right.
So I'm just trying to squeeze everything out from it, and basically the feedback from the people is so positive that it's basically giving me motivation to even try harder, because people are man, I'm stuck home, and only thing that puts me positive is your videos. I'm man, I have to make him happy. I have to,
Yeah, and that's something to say. I mean, not only just for you, right? I mean, I've been in other streamers' chats, in chats rather, Random Call Sign or Broadbents or Steve GTs, anybody, and that's a really big thing in this community. Is especially as you say with everything going on in the world right now with COVID, that's a lot of people's just it's how they get their serotonin for the day, right? They jump on and they watch you or they watch one of the other guys, and all they're doing is it brings happiness to them. And speaking of which, if anybody hasn't watched one of Jardier's streams before, you're doing yourself a disservice, because I have never seen a man that is happier while he's racing. I mean, I think I tuned into one of your streams a couple weeks ago, and you were not having a good race. It was not a good race. You got wrecked out early or something like that. But I tell you, this guy still had a smile on his face, and that's a really big thing. It's how do you keep up that energy? I mean, even when you're not having a good, maybe not necessarily having a good time, but not having a good race. I mean, you managed to keep up that energy, and I think that's awesome. How does that work with you?
I mean, like, it's all in everything, you know. Like, of course, if I would not have the camera on, I think I would be a little different, you know.
Right.
But I feel like, yeah, when you stream, you know, I feel like you have to have like responsibility, you know, to your audience and everything. And I'm really like behind it. And the second of all, like, I enjoy sim racing, you know. I'm just having like blast. It's like basically when people watch me doing the thing I really love, you know, it makes me happy, you know. So obviously, like, of course, there are people who are trying to bring it down, you know, when they crash me or I'm having like a bad strategy or problem with something, you know, technical problem or something. It's really like bringing you down. But I feel like, you know, I was talking about it like several weeks ago during the stream. I think there's always something worse that can happen, right?
Right.
Like
always.
It's just if I bring it like all down, you know, it's just a game. And we are just driving, you know, and I feel like you can be sick in real life, you know, somebody can pass away or something, you know, like there's like so much worse you can have in real life than basically that someone crashed me in virtual race is like the least of the problems, you know. And I feel like in my life I already like experienced like a lot of shit, if I can say it. So this really like, yeah, some people try to bring me down, but I try to keep it up, you know. And
you try to keep it up,
especially especially when I like enjoy what I'm doing. I mean, like I think it's very, I mean, like it's important. I'm not trying to like fake positiveness, you know. So I'm like, when I'm having like bad race or somebody comments or something happens, so I'm like, you can see it on my stream that I'm like a bit like different. But the rest, you know, when I'm having like a good race, I'm just sharing, like I'm basically sharing the emotion. Yeah. So I'm just trying to like share that emotion in me, because the people who watch me, they can only see me, you know, so they don't know like what's in my head. So I'm like trying to like, I feel like I feel like I'm doing a good job by sharing the emotion or sharing the information. You know, that's basically what my channel is all about. You know, that what's in my head, you know, and I'm sharing it like everywhere.
No, and that's really what it comes down to. You know, I mean, that's why I would say that you're probably one of the, well, maybe not the most popular YouTuber. I don't know why, but you know, you're damn up there. I mean, you've got we were just talking before we started recording, 25,950 subs, and a couple weeks ago that was about 24. You've picked up over 1,000 subs in a couple weeks, and I think that really kind of gets to the point of how much people enjoy watching you because of all that, and I think that that's a really huge part of it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think, yeah, I feel like, you know, when I compare myself to other YouTubers or streamers who are doing sim racing, I feel like I'm like very different in a way. I feel like if I look, for example, at Jimmy, like Jimmy to me is like a YouTuber, you know, he does videos that are perfect and they get big, you know, with Formula One and everything, and he's doing like fantastic job. And I see myself not as there probably yet. I feel like I'm myself more like, let's say, like esport driver who is driving very fast and is recording himself during that and having fun, you know. And I feel like that's like a little different, because like none of my videos basically ever got like viral or big or anything.
Right.
So I feel like I'm like doing, I would say like one thing on one side I'm doing like something bad, and on the one side I'm doing something good, you know, because my community is growing slowly but very nicely, surely. And it's very very solid, you know, like my community is like insanely solid in terms, you know, we have people still like who watched me since the beginning and are still there for the past 2 years, and I feel like I'm just like missing that perfect YouTuber personality, you know,
right,
to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I mean, you say that, but I mean, I disagree. I think that you do have that personality to be there, and it's really that's right. I mean, that's just really what it is, right? Is it's the difference in people's videos. I mean, when you look at you use Jimmy as an example, you know, I very much enjoyed watching Jimmy's videos, but you're right, is, you know, he makes those perfect videos, and even though he's a little, don't take me wrong, Jimmy is a meme factory and we all know it, but you know, like he records those videos, he cuts them and edits them, and while he does do his live streams and stuff, it's definitely more it's a little more curated, I guess what might be the way for it. And yours is just raw, unfiltered. Here's me. Let's and go. You know. Yeah. And I think that's really awesome. Yeah.
Maybe I could like say maybe I would say maybe I'm more like in a streamer person than like a YouTuber because like I can edit videos, I can do like nice editing and such, but I feel like every single time when I put effort into video, like to make like super cut scenes, 8 hours of editing and everything, and the video doesn't get any popularity. But when I like put, as you said, like raw myself, like for 20 minutes race or something, people are like yes,
because they want that energy, that personality of just like let's go, exactly. So something that people don't perhaps know as much about you, because I'm going to be honest, I didn't know this until very recently. You used to race in real life, did you not?
Yes.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about that, because I mean, obviously, I'm sure that those skills helped you translate into being, the what many, and myself included, would consider you being an alien driver in sim racing now. So how did that start?
Yeah, it's like basically why people do not know is because it happened very long time ago, you know? Like, I mean, like, I'm 32, and it happened like 14, 15 years ago, Right. So basically, like, some people haven't been born yet even.
Right, so, you were a teenager.
And basically, I don't even count it anymore, because it happened so many years ago. I don't even count that. But like Rolly or shortly said, I was very fortunate when I was a kid. My father was racing in real life. He was doing like Ford Fiesta Cup and some little like championships in my country.
Right.
And we never had like proper money for doing racing. Like we always wanted to, like he always see that like potential in me when we went to karting or something, but we never had money for karting because it was very expensive. But luckily, when I was 14, there was like a Ford Fiesta Cup. They changed the rules, so people in 14 years, they could race in Ford Fiesta Cup. And basically, he had sponsors that were basically able to pay for us to do the Ford Fiesta Cup. Okay. And I like jumped into the racing because it was actually
you're 14 years old. Let's go.
Yeah. It was actually cheaper than doing like karting, at the time.
Okay.
And fortunately for me, I was very lucky to do that, so I had like nice 5 years of racing. So I basically was racing in 2 years in Ford Fiesta Cup. In the second season, when I was 15, I finished second in the championship. And then we started doing like a little like sprint series and endurance championships, like 6-hour endurance races. I was racing in Renault Clio Cup, which was also very good. And then in 2006, basically, which was like my most famous or most fabulous season, I was actually driving in a BMW 130i Cup, which was like a big championship here. It was like very big names and such. And it was like my first experience with rear-wheel drive racing. And I basically I won the whole championship. I won like half of the races in the championship. And It was like the best season for me. We saw myself, in the future of everything. But unfortunately, my dad, who was like, he had like, I was very sick for like 3 months. I lost like 20 kilograms and he caught it as well. And he got even worse. And basically he wasn't able to do, let's say, anything for like a year. And he lost the sponsors, obviously. He lost the company. So we were like, everything stopped basically, like people say it was like unlucky or something, but I feel like, I think I was very fortunate, because I was able to do something that nobody could do, and it really worked well for me. And, I mean, like I already passed it, it happened, and I'm still happy for the experience, because it's basically like set my future, maybe save my life several times maybe save my life several times in a real road, as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, like I said, that's something that I didn't know, so I'm sure it's something that a lot of people don't know. And to your point, it did happen many, many years ago, but still, it's something that I'm sure has sent you into, especially when all of a sudden you can't do the real life racing anymore. You look for that other option, and that other option, sim racing, from the sound of it. And here we are, in 2020, and you're still doing it. So, Jardier, to take a hard 90 on the subject here, the reason you came out today for this video is a lap, or a couple laps, of course, but a lap. This series is all about a lap with the Lambo, right? So we have challenged our guest today to take a lap around Silverstone with the Lamborghini ST with the default egress setup. All they can adjust is the electronics, so your TC, your brake bias, your ABS, and the tire pressures. How'd that thing feel out there, Jard?
Oh, I was actually very good. It was first time I driven this car. I mean, like we did like 4 laps of practice, and then we jumped for the normal car. And except like the car was very snappy. I was very surprised.
That's that Lambo.
Like, yeah. There was like a major understeer in the car, followed by like kick in the butt, like with the rear of the car. So it was very challenging to drive. I really enjoyed it actually. It was very surprising.
When I went out for my test laps in this thing, I described it as oversteering while you understeer. I felt like that was how that car was going. And granted, I'm a pleb. Like I for hot lapping, I'm like mid-am at best. Race pace, I can maybe get up into some pro-am and fight with the mid-pack there, but I'm definitely not up at that level. But hey, that's why we're inviting you here. So Jardier, that lap time, I have to say, very impressive. The couple laps that I saw some of our staff go out and run to put on the leaderboard, I mean, we didn't expect to get anywhere near you, but, we thought we'd give it a run. Now, of course, you are our only guest so far, so there's not a whole lot of other alien times up on the board yet. But that said, as we take a look at the leaderboard here on the screen, that will see Jardier at a 2:03.060. This close to running a 2:03 flat. And he said that you could probably get a few more tenths out of it if you had a few more laps. But hey, that's the fun of it, right? Is you only get a few, and that's all you get. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
Excellent lap time. I'm really curious to see how that goes over the next few. I was mentioning Jardier beforehand. I'm working on getting a couple more people in here. Dan Suzuki might be joining us at some point. Chris Houquet, maybe Sabir Ibrahimi. A couple of those guys may come in and join us, and we'll see how they compare, because that's what everybody wants to know, right? Is really, let's put them in an equal car with a car that almost nobody runs all the time, and kind of see how they go with that stock aggressive setup. So, should be very interesting. Excellent lap, Jardier. We'll have to check back in a few weeks with that one and see how we do, and maybe have you compete again with Chris and them.
Yeah.
So there's a couple more things I want to mention. Something that you show on your channel every time you stream, you have a little intro video that plays, right?
Okay.
Now, on that intro video, I was watching it back, trying to just grab some clips to overlay on this video, and I saw something very interesting.
Oh, God.
I mean, there was a lot of interesting in there. Anything from, the Wreckfest, the YouTuber Wreckfest video. That was, just watching a couple of your guys' POVs. I watched yours, I watched Broadbent's, and I think I watched, I think Steve GT was there. I watched a couple of your guys' videos, all at the same time, just getting it from you guys. It was just hilarious. There was a very special part of that, though, that I feel like I have to bring up, because it's probably one of the most important things for the viewers. There is a bright white dog jumping through a field here, Jardier. And all I want to know is, because I don't know, I want to know. I mean, please tell me everything about the dog, and I'm sure, from the look of it, you would be okay. Tell me a little bit about the dog. I mean, what's its name to begin with? Because I mean, I feel like that's the most important thing. It's adorable.
Okay, so her name is June, like the month. Basically June Jasmine is full name, but we call her June.
Okay.
She's 2 years old, and she's a white Swiss Shepherd. Yeah, it's like little our spoiled little bitch.
Well, yeah, I mean, from the sound of it, the part of the intro video was you unboxing a
GT Omega.
Yeah, your GT Omega. She's taking parts and running away with them and stuff. Yeah. Oh, dude, that was beautiful. I think I got a couple of clips of that, so I'll play them on the screen if for whatever I have. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, just go into Jardier's stream and just ask about his dog, because we all know that that's what we really care about, right? Who cares about the sim racing? Yeah. I was taking a look at your sim room, because you recently posted a video about with kind of a little tour of your room and everything, and it's not quite as extensive as some we've seen, of course, but it sounds like you're getting a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, of course I'm as I said, I'm sim racing for a very long time, so of course you're evolving your stuff, developing your stuff, getting newer and better stuff in some time, and as I said, basically fortunately, because I'm doing the streams and everything and making some little money with that as well, so I can reinvest it. It's basically what I try to do. I'm basically every time I make some extra coin, I try to reinvest it into, like, let's say making better audio, making better video, like buying a stream card or better light and better camera and such. So luckily, so far in this apartment which we got is I have like extra room basically for all my stuff. So this is like my gaming room, and girlfriend doesn't like it, but she allows me to do whatever I want here, because she understands like it's like my hobby, my life. So she's like, okay, you can do whatever you want if I can do that,
Right.
So.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So you have quite a bit of equipment, especially from a couple people. And I'll disclaim this. I believe you're sponsored by GT Omega. Are you not? But you do have a lot of their equipment too, and it's actually something I've been looking into, because I have a nice little space about right over here, a few feet, that would fit a cockpit really nicely. So, I've been looking at getting one myself sometime soon. So, you really talked up their stuff in the video that you made about your sim rig, and then of course you have your Fanatec gear and everything. So you're a big fan of both GT Omega and Fanatec. What exactly is it you're using currently?
I'm using, as you said, I'm using Fanatec, and then I'm using GT Omega. Basically, the reason I'm like partnered with both is because like I basically trust both companies a lot. I basically bought like first exact model of GT Omega sim rig in 2011. It was my first. Before I was racing on a small normal chair. I can share you a picture a little later so you can laugh about it. And in 2011, I bought like their first ever rig they developed, and I was racing on it for like 7 years. And then basically, when I hit like 10,000 subscribers or something, I basically got contacted by GT Omega. We partnered together. So it's a very nice relationship we have, because the company, to me, it's like important. I trust the product, and I enjoy the product, because I couldn't like promote something I really don't like, So it's basically why we have such a nice relationship, and why it's so easy for me to promote them and everything. And basically the same thing was happening or is happening right now with Fanatec. Of course, everything is electronic, so everything can break down or something, so you can be unlucky. But basically I wanted to have something very good, something that's working very well, and that's why I'm using this at this moment.
Well, watching you put some lap times down, they seem to be doing pretty well for you. I mean, I myself, I have some Fanatec pedals I recently got. I have the CSL Elite load cells. Very, very big fan. But, I'm still using a Logitech G29 wheel, and great wheel, don't take me wrong, but, it's still... still not quite the same. So it'll be a route that I'll want to go at some point too. So, hey, if you're ever getting rid of something, think of me, will you?
I find the rig is like super important, I think, it's like, because like when I got my first rig after like 7 years of sim racing or 6 years of sim racing, and it basically changed my whole point, because it's so comfortable to sit exactly the same. It's basically if you go to your car, and if somebody was sitting there before you, and you're like, what the hell, like you can immediately notice they are sitting different,
I really just have one last thing for you, bud. Let me let's talk a little bit about the future for you. Do you have anything that's kind of coming up, or anyone that you particularly want to thank for anything, or any big races coming up or anything like that, or is there something important coming up that we can tease a little bit?
Well, we basically finished the SRO right now, which was a very nice experience with FFR Racing. I would like to thank them for experience, because it was very, very nice. Of course, like number one for me is thanking my girlfriend, because she's letting me do all this stuff. And I mean, like it can't be easy for her to let me drive basically every evening almost, So
driving 12 hours a day.
Yeah. So she's like the biggest supporter, And of course, all my fans, who are like absolutely crazy. My community is like incredible, and it's just shocking me almost every day, like what we created and how people are amazing. And about the future, I can't say much, but I'm very looking forward for future, because in upcoming weeks there's going to be some very nice announcements, and I'm really curious I'm curious about the end of the year, because I think the end of the year might be very, very good, because I feel like basically, unfortunately, thanks to the whole world situation, sim racing got a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
And basically, thanks to people thankfully for people like me, it's actually helping very, very well. And I think we will have a very bright future and very, very nice end of the year. And I cannot wait to tell all the guys what's actually in preparation for upcoming weeks.
Awesome. All right, well, Jardier, we will make sure that if any of the viewers at home, make sure you guys check on. There will be his YouTube link, all of his social medias in the channel description and everything. His Twitter link handle should be on the video there below him, so you guys can check those out. Take a look at those announcements here in a couple weeks. Jardier, really appreciate you joining me today, man. It's been a pleasure, and we'll, at the very minimum, I know that we'll see you next Friday for our championship.
Absolutely.
And we'll finish up this Intercontinental GT Championship and see if you can take home another win next week. Okay.
Oh, hopefully. Thanks.
All right, Jardier. Thank you guys, and we will be back in 2 weeks with a guest to be announced.